Frickin' Ohm and his iron clouds and that damn snake, man. I tell you, the action is certainly heating up, and oh boy, is it fun. One Piece, 269th chapter, Concerto. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesomely groovy, epically tantalizing, just graciously gratifying tale of One Piece. Our last chapter, of course, saw us at the end, you know, really just kind of having that oh shit moment and being able to see Shandora, even in black and white, in all of its glory, as Nico Robin had apparently dug down to find it. And then, of course, there's the whole just crazy shit balls to the wall battle that's going on that middle level there, you know, up the giant jack. So between, you know, pretty much everybody. I mean, the giant snake's up there. Luffy's inside the snake. There's Zoro. There's Ohm. There's Ganfal. There's Wyper. Anyway, the chapter goes and starts out, and it's actually pretty cool. It starts out and it shows us, takes us to a little bit of a quiet respite, and it's Conis and Pagaya, and they, of course, are in the Going Merry. You know, Sanji and Usopp are still unconscious, and they're going around and sailing to the spot where they need to, where they're supposed to wait, and they're kind of like, you know, well, we shouldn't do this, and I didn't know we were going to be the ones that are going to have to, and maybe we should blow the horn or something like that, you know, to ward off to give us strength to ward off the enemies. And it's like, yeah, give away your position. That's a great idea. So they go and do that, and then of course, you know, we see Sanji and Usopp and whatnot, and it's really, there's not a whole lot to the scene itself. It then goes and moves on, and of course we had the Shandians and of course the Heavenly Warriors that were still left had all started, it looked like, converging on and going up the giant jack, the beanstalk, in the last chapter. And then also Nami and Aisa are going up there as well on that waver. So we wind up kind of cutting to the upper part of where everybody's fighting, or where the shit's hitting the fan, and we see that Wyper is still being the legitimate asswipe that he is. He's attacking Ganfal, and Ganfal's like, what are you doing? Will you just stop? What the hell? Give me just a second here. He's like, oh, why? You're the same as the god in our eyes, you know. Just fight everybody. Fuck anything, you know. Just that small-minded mentality, and, you know, instead of, hey, let's go and band together, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and that type of thing. No, don't do any of that. No, so whatever, you know, let's persecute Ganfal. He likes pumpkin juice. But anyway, so they're going and fighting and everything else, and we go and we see Zoro, and Zoro's pretty bloodied and beaten. And if you remember from the last chapter, we had found out about these iron clouds that were all over the place, and basically you hit like an kind of invisible tripwire or pressure plate type thing, and these things fly out with this like barbed wire. So Zoro's all beaten up, and Ohm's like, that's why you blue sea people would never understand and never be able to be as strong as us. And he goes and he holds a little iron staff-looking thing out there or whatever, and he's like, there's an iron cloud contained within this, and I have a dial on here. I just press it, and it fires out, and it seeks its target until it finds it. So Zoro's like, okay, I get it. It's basically like a whip, you know, and it is. It's like he fires this thing out, and it goes and it whips out, you know, this barbed wire type, almost like sword that can go in and seek its opponent, which is actually a pretty cool weapon. I could use probably 2 of those. I'd probably go with 1 for each hand. You know, and Zoro may want to think about upgrading as well, because he could do 3 sword style, like really, really wicked. With those type of swords. so we wind up seeing, and then we go in, and it's funny, we see this one point where Luffy is actually, we see him inside the snake, and he's just like, I just want to get out of this stupid cave, and he still has no idea he's inside of a snake. And he's like, I'm just gonna scratch my way out, and he starts trying to dig out the side of the wall. And you see the snake like and everybody's like, the snake is laughing, and the snake's just like stopping in its tracks and just going batty and laughing. Everybody's like, what the hell, you know? So then they wind up having a point where all of a sudden everybody kind of converges up at the top. It looks like we get whatever's left of the you know, the Heavenly Warriors. There's 3 or 4 of them left, and then whatever's left of the Shandians, and they kind of all get up there. And then all of a sudden on the waver, Aisa and Nami appear, you know, and Wyper, of course, immediately is pissed. Aisa, what are you doing with those blue sea people? And Ganfal, you know, notices Nami, and he's like, oh, young lady. And Zoro's like, Nami, what are you doing here? Everybody's basically like, what the hell's going on? So So they, it looks like some of the Heavenly Warriors that are there to back up, you know, the priest Ohm, you know, right? It looks like they go and kind of jump into attack, and in a cool looking panel, it looks like Nami and Aisa are kind of, you know, getting away or kind of pushed to get out of the way, and it looks like Wyper, Ganfal, and Zoro for once actually in one unified push kind of pushed against and cut down the rest of these Heavenly Warriors, and which I thought was kind of good, you know, is finally to go and see a little bit of teamwork is really amazing, because up until now, it's been a complete clusterfuck if you think about it. You know what I mean? You got everybody fighting against everybody. Nobody really knows why. I mean, Ganfal's cool with the straw hats, but the Shandians hate everybody, you know, and then you've got Enel and his priests, and they're playing some kind of wicked, crazy version of the Running Man or Hunger Games or whatever the hell you want to call it, and it just complete and utter chaos. And I mean, it's cool, but it's just complete and utter chaos. So so then we go and we see that one kind of moment where they're, and you know, and Wyper's still being an ass. You know, Aisa, why are you with them? Get away from them, that sort of thing. And it looks like Ganfal goes and actually, and Pierre, it looks like they actually go and kind of grab them and pick them up to get them away and out of there. And then all of a sudden, the snake just devours them, and you're like, what the hell, you know? So now, apparently they're inside the snake, or at least inside the snake's mouth, it looks like, and Wyper and Zoro were distracted, of course, you know, from Nami and Aisa and whatnot, and Ohm uses that opportunity, even though he's so much bigger and badder than everybody, to go and do a cheap, cocksuckerish, low blow, backstab, piece of shit type of thing, like of course he is, and goes and, you know, nails Zoro and Wyper from behind, no pun intended, but winds up basically blindsiding them, you know, and cheating to win. And he's like, you should never turn your back on your opponent, never take your eyes off your opponent, your attention off your opponent, you know, like he's some great warrior. But whatever. I'm not a big fan of the guy. I like his character design the most out of all the priests, but he's a good character to hate, so that's obviously a good thing as well. I don't have like the disinterest that I had with some of the Baroque Works agents in the beginning of that saga. I just don't like him because he's doing his job as a character in a fictional story. He's being an asshole, you know. So anyway, the chapter winds up ending up right after that with kind of the, you know, them getting taken down. It's not looking very good, you know. And Ohm, of course, now it's looking like this prophecy. I hope these guys aren't knocked out, because somebody asked me in a couple of chapters ago what my predictions were if Enel's, you know, thing about after 3 hours, his prediction, his you know, foreshadowing his vision of 5 people left standing, and who those 5 were. And I said Wyper. I said, and the reason I said Wyper is because he's an annoying character, but he's like an antagonist, but at the same time, I know there's more than meets the eye with him, and he's like the one that's going to represent. He's the, you know, the Shandians, right? Or the Shandians. And I have a feeling that, that of course, Enel is going to be, you know, one of them that's left standing. And then I went and I took Luffy, because Luffy, I'm thinking that it's going to be hard for him to get knocked out if he winds up coming into Enel's, you know, powers of lightning and electricity, because Luffy is rubber, which should hopefully, I mean, stretchy, he's rubber, hopefully he won't get injured or damaged. And then my last 2 predictions were really just because I like seeing them, and that's Nami and Robin. Nami's very clever, so I think she might find a way out of, you know, getting knocked out. And plus 2, I haven't really seen Nami get hurt badly, I think, other than her self-inflicting the wound on her tattoo in Arlong Park. I haven't seen her really gotten hurt too bad. And then Robin, because she's not even in the thick of things right now, she's over there exploring Shandora, and honestly too, I think that she has a lot of brains between her ears. You know, she's not just 2 giant breasts and a really, you know, long, tall, sexy, lanky figure. So that's my predictions for who's gonna be left standing, and the 5 is gonna be Luffy, Wyper, Nami, Robin, and Enel. So I don't know, but maybe that is gonna come true, because it looks like Zoro has knocked the funk out in this one. So we will see what happens in the next chapter. My chapter question for you is, you know, I guess really let's go and let's put in our predictions. Those of you that have read ahead and you know who the final 5 are, just don't bother answering. Or if you want to answer and put yourself in the position of when you were reading this. I mean, when this shit was coming out week to week, you know, people were probably sitting there like, you know, and there's many different characters that when this first came out, or was even 100 chapters into it, you probably sat there and went, I don't know if that character's going to live or die, because I don't know what's going to happen next week. Now, most of you have the benefit of being 300 or 400, whatever, chapters ahead, caught up, so you know some of the characters that live and some of the main characters that do, and that sort of thing. But really, I just want to know what your predictions are at this point, or if you're, of course, new to the series and reading along with me, and if you're caught up, just let me know what your thoughts are, period, I guess, you know, on the whole Hunger Games type thing, which I keep referring to it as. So leave your answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching you in the next one, nation. So if you like boobs, orange-haired girls named Nami, or tattoos that carry the weight of the world behind them, go over to my Facebook and Instagram page and hopefully you like what you see.